All right, mic check 1 2. Okay. Video. But yeah, this is a multi-purpose operation I am running here. One is to, provide as much value as I can to, everyone who decides to watch my videos. The second is to serve as a reminder for myself of what is important. And that is a difficult question to answer. And it only leads to more difficult questions. Like, for example, how I contemplated starting this video was, what does it all really mean? And that is not a light question. Human beings have been asking that question for as long as we can probably go back, or maybe not as far as we can go back, because we can go back pretty far. But once we got the major stuff out of the way, like food and water and shelter and community and the continuation of the species, once you get all those major things out of the way, then you start to get bored and you start to ask yourself a bunch of problematic questions. I have reason to believe that every philosopher in existence was just another human being bored out of their mind, which is why most of them were so smart, because when you're smart you get bored easier. But anyway, yeah, what does it all really mean? When I think about this question myself, what often comes to mind is a quote that I saw somewhere on Pinterest. I'll put it up if I find it. I'll probably find it, so I'll put it up. The quote says, "The meaning of life is whatever you are doing that keeps you alive." Something like that. And I spend a lot of time thinking about that. So at the end of the day, everybody has to sit down and look at their own life and see what that thing is for themselves. Obviously, we were all kind of aware of how sucky life can get, whether that's our lives or we see it through the lives of others, or if you have your eyes open to any decent degree, it won't be a surprise to you. But yeah, the meaning of life is whatever keeps you from unaliving yourself, essentially. And when I think about that, it doesn't have to be any deep reason. Well, anything that fundamental is going to lend itself to some deep dialogue in your head. But life is as simple as it is complicated. That makes no sense. What does that mean? It's okay, it makes the most sense when I think about my own personal experiences. So let me tell you about that. For me personally, if you look at life, to me at the very least, there's a lot of reasons where if you pay attention enough, you can kind of look at certain things and be like, okay, I'm glad I'm here to experience this. And I think what I've managed to distill it down to is beauty. You want to ask yourself, not you want to ask yourself, I ask myself, what is beauty? If you were to take that and kind of quantify is probably the wrong word. If you want to take that and you want to make that, you want to define is not the word. It's you want to put that under a microscope, right? What does it mean? I have not bothered myself to go and look up the definition of any of these words or the root of the words, or go into where it originates from and all of that. I don't mess with that. But looking at language and how comprehensive it is, because the word beauty can be used to refer to a lot of things, but it's not the same thing. So essentially what I would do is try to find the commonality between all those things. For example, you might look at a sunset and you'd be like, oh, that sunset is beautiful. Or you might look at something in nature, anything in nature. Well, not anything in nature, but most things in nature, or a few select things in nature, if you want to get picky. You would look at that and you would say, damn, this is beautiful. I live in the Turks and Caicos Islands, and I see quite a few sunsets that, you've had a hard day, you come home, you step out of your car, you look off into the distance and you see all type of colors in the sky, and you feel a little breeze blowing, and it's yeah, I'm glad I'm alive to experience this. And you can say also that this person writes beautifully, whether that's their handwriting or their You can say that was a beautiful play, like in sports, in football, in basketball. You can say the phrase beautiful execution exists. So it's not a simple word. And this is quite a bit of a ramble, I'm realizing. But this is more work on me to edit this than it is you to listen. So there's an entire host of things that you can call beautiful, but the commonality between them, I believe, is that there's a certain distinction. There's a comparison between it and whatever else you would consider to be normal. There's a hierarchy to things, right? This is beautiful and this is not. Hence the reason why this is beautiful. And I find that a synonym for that can be excellence in a number of terms. You know, I wrote something in my journal a few months ago in an attempt to define beauty, and it wasn't very long. It was simple. It said, beauty is the handwriting of God. That definition made a lot of sense to me, because in a lot of ways, you know, okay, if I am to get into this God thing, this is going to be a much longer video than I intend, but nonetheless, it is a video I will make in the future. So like and subscribe. I'm never saying that again. That's probably a lie. But yeah, the question we started out with, what does it all mean? Me personally, I think that the entire reason why everything is worth everything. I'm trying to go through this without sounding all negative and down in the dumps about things, because if I'm being honest, there are a lot of beautiful things in life to be happy about. But I think that there is the point. The fact that beauty exists and that you can conduct your life in such a way that it will allow beauty to manifest in the world exponentially. And I know that's kind of a rough segue, but I basically think that's what that is. And really and truly, that's what I want this channel to be about. I am using this channel as a way to open up a discussion about how to bring forth the most beauty from your life as possible. And there are lots of reasons as to why you would want to do that. One, your life would be better. Two, everyone around you, their life would be better. It's almost like it is through excellent acts that you reduce suffering as much as possible. Because the entire thing about life is that, you know, ain't nobody like to suffer. Ain't nobody want to be out here in the ghetto just And you know, it's interesting enough that you say that, and obviously that's what everybody thinks, but people don't take responsibility for that. People don't take responsibility for their own lives. And I'm not trying to sound like one of them dudes, it's just true, because you see a lot of people who, like me personally, I relatively believe I am very perceptive to a certain degree towards certain things. And you know, I see a lot of people where I have a tendency to see the potential in everyone. And you know, that becomes a problem for me sometimes, because that stems from a tendency to be very introspective with myself. And I know that there are things that I want to do that I am not doing. I know there are heights that I can reach that I am not reaching. And I am trying my best to get to that place. But it's also a feeling that I know that I could be doing more. And I am upset at myself for it. Not like beating up myself, but it's like, yo, I understand that if I truly got my act together, I could probably be, it's more an issue of time. Like if I was more efficient, if I lived my life more efficiently, I could get to my goals faster, you know. And there's a whole patience and balance argument that's there to be made, but that's another video as well. But yeah, back to other people. I look around and I see a lot of potential in a lot of people, and it's like, yo, you could be great if you got your act together. And I feel like that's the whole purpose of the thing. Like, why wouldn't you want to be great? Because we look at all these people and we admire what they do, what they can do, what they have done. Yet the same potential lies in us, and we refuse to turn the key and give ourselves a winning shot. And that just seems like a waste to me. As a result, I do my best to hold myself to extremely high standards and hold those around me to those standards as well. Or, well, I'll tell you right now, that's not going very well for me. But, you know, I have friends and I see the potential in them. And while there's, like, ain't nobody could tell nobody what to do. Like, it's your life. It just... But anyway, did I have any notes? Yeah, and the thing about it, there's always more beauty to be had. Like, we don't know what the upper limits of that phenomenon is, because how I believe it works is that you receive dreams and desires akin to your potential. That's why I guess people have the heart to say that, you know, whatever, if you can conceive it, then you can, some wishy-washy thing like that, not in concept but in
when you wish upon a star, nothing happens.
Like how you say it is played out. It's a cliche, but it's a cliche because it's kind of true. Me and my friend were talking about this just today actually. I know very well that God would not give me these ideas and dreams to sit down and say, no, you can't have that. That don't make no sense. So if you have a dream, I cringed at the beginning of that sentence, but if you have some sort of vision for your life, then it would be hypocritical of me to say, of anyone to say, that you cannot achieve it. The fact that you have received that vision or those ideas for how you want life to be is proof in and of itself. Like, I don't need to get into all the, there's a million quotes on that, there's a million books on it. One that I happen to like a lot is where is it? This one. This is one book on that topic that I happen to like a lot. This is called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. This is a very good book. Probably my favorite book I read last year. But yeah, if you have a vision in your mind about how you want your life to be, then it's only a matter of how much effort you're willing to put behind the mission. Because that's what it is now, it's a mission. It's only a matter of how much gas you're willing to put behind the fire. It's a matter of how bad you want it. And arguably, if you're not taking the action, then it's possible you don't want it bad enough. And it's not like a thing where you're just gonna like whoosh. Like, it's gonna be like this. Hella potholes, bro, on the road to greatness. And if you're not careful, you're gonna wreck your suspension trying to get over them. But if you take your time and you keep going, you will get there eventually. And I say that with confidence because I can see how I've moved forward in a lot of smaller goals in my life, and I've gotten there the exact same way with the exact same process that is going to get me to the big ones, because I've seen it happen over and over again. You see it with Mike Tyson, you see it with Kobe, you see it with LeBron, you see it with everyone else. You see the work ethic, you see the desire, you see the determination, and all those guys live life in their own way as beautifully as they possibly could. And that is why we have the admiration that we have for them. So what more could I have to say to myself, to anyone else, than to live beautifully?